Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven, accompanied by Queen Taylor, and today we're going to be taking a look at 5 ways to help someone struggling with their mental health. Mental health season BBC ideas. This is a video that won our spin the wheel over the weekend on June 1st. And yeah, you guys, let's hop on over the video and let's get it started.
Can I just
I don't know what to.
I think.
I don't know what to say. I'm sorry.
When someone is struggling with their mental health, it can be hard to find the right words.
Sometimes what to say, and you're basically walking on eggshells.
Sometimes it can shock people. Someone says you're having a good day. They just expect you to say, yes, Sound, I'm okay. And I've said, no, I'm not. And some people can get taken aback. Oh.
And I think there's the fear of saying the wrong thing. You know, what do I know about mental health?
I was diagnosed with anorexia nervosa, body dysmorphic disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder back in 2013. And on Friday the 29th of August 2014, I tried to take my own life.
My name's Hakiran. I'm Sandeep's mum, mother. Is it?
Best friend.
I'm best friend.
Dave first joined the Mint session when he was struggling with his mental health, and from there we kind of, in a strange way, hit it off. I think
It's love at first sight.
I like to think of it that way.
I'm Dr. Will Murcott. I'm a mental health nurse and senior lecturer with the Open University.
Find ways to help someone struggling with their mental health.
For me, listening is at the top of the list. I think that's the first and most important step. If you can, active listening, repeating back some of the things that they've said to you so that they can feel and realise that they're being helped.
That first initial conversation that you had with me when my mum and dad sat me down, that's when the bubble popped for me. That's when I thought at that very moment that someone's noticing how I'm feeling. Someone is noticing and having an oversight of my pain, just asking how you are. It was so crucial and so important to me at that moment.
Ask twice, are you okay? Yeah, I'm all right. But no, are you really okay? And then it's like, well, no, actually, I'm not.
I think there is an urge to try and...
It is always that second time. I have a lot of people in my life that struggle with mental health. A lot of friends and family with depression, and it is always kind of that second time you ask. Because I think it becomes such a natural part of everyone's day to just ask. You pass me on the street. Oh, how are you? Yeah, good. You? Yeah, good. It's just kind of common ground, I think, to just ask that, whether you care or not, whether you're going to listen to the answer or not. And I think it's when you ask that second time that shows that you actually care enough to be like, okay, give me the real answer.
Yeah.
Problem solve and do something. And there's almost need sometimes to be able to fix a problem or a person. And sometimes that's not the right thing to do in that situation.
People aren't necessarily looking for answers. People want to be heard.
One of the things I've learned as a mental health professional is that often if I try and set goals or have my own needs and wants and desires for how somebody should get better, they are usually wrong. And so from my point of view, it's working with a person at their pace and trying to understand how they want to move.
You can suggest go to see your GP, you can suggest support groups, you can suggest people taking an activity. You can go and join in that activity with them, so they're not feeling alone with that.
One size does not fit all. You've had a really great idea, didn't you? The family trusted circle.
So what we do, we go out the family environment and go to a coffee shop or just sit there, all 4 of us, actually doing our pos and negs. What's been your positive for the whole month? What's been your negative for the whole month?
We spend a lot of time insulting each other. We just send each other little videos or, oh yeah, I've been watching that, and just little clips. Everybody's at the click of a button now.
You're in my pocket.
Yeah.
If they're really struggling and at breaking point, emergency.
This is a big one.
phone lines
Yeah.
out there.
Samaritans.
And Samaritans as well. They need to know that
There is someone.
there is support out there. And it's so hard to see that when
You are in a dark place.
you're in a dark place, yeah.
One of the scary things is that kind of pressure of what do I do if? Because it can be nothing more scary than having somebody talk to you about ending their life, harming themselves in some way. Really, the person needs to know as well at what point you will find something acceptable or unacceptable, and then have to do something or involve somebody else. I would try and get that conversation done as soon as I can, to say, look, I will never breach your confidence, but if there are things that worry me, then I may have to do something about that. And again, that's absolutely okay, because the person will thank you for it afterwards.
Let people know that I'm here and we're going to do this together. So if that means, right, me and you, we're going to make an appointment at the GP, we'll go together and we'll do this together. And it's about being in the mud together.
You have to keep your own emotional batteries charged up, because when they're drained out, you can't help anybody else and you struggle to function, let alone just trying to look after yourself. The plane and the oxygen mask, put your oxygen mask on first. Self-care is the number one priority, I think.
So I don't think you can actually fail, and that's something that I would really push to everyone who's helping someone with mental health struggles, is you haven't failed, you cannot fail, but you can do something.
Trust your instincts, be yourself.
The right thing was probably what you first felt, and that could have been sitting and listening, just nodding, or it could have been responding, tell me more about that. So not to over-worry, not to overthink, but there is support out there, and there are people that will listen to you and give you advice and guidance.
And it's important to talk. Oh my God, it's so important to talk.
Very important to talk.
We had most chats with love you, man. It's good to have someone like Josh in my life. It makes my life better.
Vice versa.
Aww. Well, I don't think it's Mental Health Awareness Month here in America, but I feel as though it should be Mental Health Awareness Month all the time.
Every month.
Every month,
it should
every
always be
chance you
massive.
get. I really hope that whoever's watching this video on our channel, this helps somebody. I know I've been in a lot of dark places, and I really liked the conversation. I think it was in conversation 3 or step 3, whatever, when they were talking about, like, the doctors, just understand that your solution to the problem might not be what I want,
Yeah, exactly.
for your patients. So, like, solutions or treatments isn't a one size fit all thing. Cause I remember I had to go to, I'm going to be very personal here. I had to go to Alcoholics Anonymous for a while when I was younger. And that wasn't a solution to my problem, but it's what my doctor really insisted I did. And it didn't solve or help anything. It was just not the treatment plan that I was looking for. And it wasn't really something, like, you have to want to help yourself. I think that's one thing other than identifying the problem. And this, I feel like my issue is more of like a dependency disease thing rather than, which is a mental health issue, rather than like straight up depression.
Yeah.
But I did also take depression medication and things like that. So maybe in combination of the two, they really helped. But what ultimately made me stop drinking was you. I didn't want to disappoint you. And that was a big enough motivator for me to just quit drinking. I think I was at a point where I almost lost you to drinking, and you kind of gave me an ultimatum. And that was like a wake up call for me personally to be like, all right, we're done, boys. We're done. So yeah, I really like that they kind of said that, because not all solutions are going to fit each individual person. It's all nuanced. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's important to find those outlets, you know, whether they be an activity that kind of helps or a friend, a family member, anybody, but also more specifically a medical professional that is willing to take you seriously. Because I don't know what it's like in other countries. In America, I personally think, I don't know if you feel any differently, that it's a problem where, you know, you go in and you say to your doctor, you know, hey, I'm feeling like this, I'm feeling like that. I feel like I've got some depression, and their first thing instantly always is, here's some pills. Here's some pills. It's always the easy solution, I feel like, is to just prescribe you something for it. And sometimes that's great. Sometimes it helps people. Sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes, you know, they might have an underlying thing that the doctor doesn't know about, where maybe they've got an addiction to pills. And when you just go and just prescribe them pills automatically, it's just not a good solution always. And I think it's good to find somebody that takes you seriously, that's willing to help in ways other than just
And listen,
giving that. Yeah.
like they were talking about, just listen. I feel as though, and I don't want this video to become an American, you know, healthcare system video, but I definitely do think that, and we know this being in Colorado, our pediatrician for our son went on strike because their health facility was limiting the time spent in a patient visit to 15 minutes. That way they can get more patients in.
Yeah.
That way they could charge more insurance claims or insurance companies. And it's like that kind of stuff is so shady, because then you're basically at the fast food level of healthcare. And how can anybody be treated or seen in a thoughtful or, you know, caring way if it's limited to only 15 minutes? So I feel like that's where our healthcare system really, really fails us, is doctors don't take the time to really care, because you're just you're a number. You're just a body that churns in the wheel of things. So it's really unfortunate.
It's almost like you think of like a conveyor belt, and they just stamp, okay, next.
That's exactly. And that's why they just pills, boop, pills, boop. So I definitely think organizations like this and being able to reach out to other places other than like a traditional healthcare facility is probably your best bet.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
of course, family and friends and people that are willing to help and listen.
And I think a lot of people have kind of a negative connotation towards, you know, therapists.
Yeah.
A lot of people I personally know are like, I don't need to talk to some shrink, you know, and I think that's a really, really good way, especially if you are somebody that doesn't like to ask for help. If you feel, you know, a certain type of way, if you feel like it makes you weak having to ask for help, and you don't want your loved ones to know that you're feeling those things, a therapist is somebody that's really good, because it's somebody that doesn't know you personally. They don't know the circle that you run with. They're not going to have these types of thoughts that you might be like, oh, well, you know, if I tell my friends, they might see me differently or something like that. A professional isn't going to have those ways. They're not going to think those things. So I think reaching out to somebody like that, if you don't want to reach out to somebody that you know, is a really good route to go, because, you know, that's what they're there for. They're trained professionals. They're going to help people. And especially things like suicide, you know, it's
Unalived.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. This was a deep one. This was, again, something that was just on our Patreon request playlist for educational, and it won the spin the wheel. So this is why we're doing it. And honestly, even if it wasn't, and this was just something we were made aware of, I would have definitely have reacted to this video. This was a great video. I thought it was important. I think this is important, and mental health awareness is important. So guys, leave down in the comments what you thought, or any, you know, advice to people, anything that if someone who is struggling would see your comment, would motivate them to go seek help. But that's our time. I hope this helps someone, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.